Okay, welcome to our next video on the ISO layer 2, the data link layer. Okay, I got sort of a bit of a bizarre little thing I want you to set up this time. So if you look on the screen right now, you can see I've got 4 computers and a switch all hooked up, and I've put in a request for the IP address in CDAR format. So you'll have to figure out the net mask, which of course is 255.255.255.0 for each one of these things. Luckily, this is actually the correct subnet mask for these IP addresses, so it shouldn't be very much work. But what I'm going to get you to do is I want you to pause the video and set up this thing so you can actually try this at home as well. Okay, so I'll wait here for a couple of seconds so you can just pause, and that way you can make this up. Okay, great. So hopefully you've had a chance to set this up. And of course, what I've done, I've already gone through and I've set up all of these IP addresses. Now, if you take a look at these /24s, you can tell that the two the two computers at the top are both with 200.34.12, 234.12. So it looks like these two computers would have worked, but wait. Oh, and if you look at the bottom, you'll see 192.168.100, 192.168.100. It looks like those computers could talk, but can you plug everything like this into the same switch, and will things work, or will everything just collide with each other? Okay, well, let's pop open this one in the upper left-hand corner, and let me try pinging the other machine. So I will start off by pinging the upper right-hand corner, which is 200.34.12.6. And yeah, this seems to be working fine. Okay, but now the thing really gets questioned is, what if I try pinging 192.168.100.2? Any chance for this? And no, this just does not work. And of course, it's for the exact same reason that we had before. Those 192.168.100s, those are on completely different networks. So the poor computer just has absolutely no idea where to send it. Okay, so maybe you're thinking that, well, maybe just nothing else is set up. Well, let me close up this computer and let me come down to the lower left-hand corner, and I'm going to try pinging 192.168.100.2. Okay, now the question is, does this work? And apparently not. Okay, so what on earth has happened here? So number one, I may have just misconfigured the computer. So let me check this again. I don't like it when this happens, but hey, this does happen. Here's exactly my problem. I've got a 1 in here. Okay, sorry about that. I misconfigured the computer. So 100. Now I did think about actually removing this from the video because I don't want you to see me making mistakes. But no, you know what? I'm going to leave this in because guess what? Chances are you'll probably make the same mistake. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, good. So now this is working. Okay, so now let's go back up. So it does work from the bottom. Let's go back up here and try pinging it from here now that we've actually configured it correctly. And no, it still does not go out. Okay, so what on earth is happening? Does this actually end up working? And the answer is yeah, it actually will function this way. Although most people would probably never configure a network like this, it is possible to configure. Okay, you see, the switch itself is what's known as a layer 2 device. Layer 2 devices don't know anything about IP addresses. IP addresses, those 192.168.100.1, those are things that live at layer number 3. But the switch itself doesn't know anything about it. So if you remember from our previous discussions, the way how it works at layer 2, okay, layer 2, here's what ends up happening. When a ping goes out from, say, 234.12.3 to 234.12.6, what will happen is there will be something called an ARP request, and the ARP request will look like this. It'll say, who has 200, sorry about that, I put in the wrong number, who has 200.34.12.6, and that will end up being broadcast to all people on the switch. Okay, so who will get that? Well, everybody will get that, including the real 234.12.6. But the funny thing is it actually won't go back out down to the lower sides because as the broadcast goes out, the computer would actually block it because it says, well, that's not on my network. Okay, so it's not on my network, so that ARP request wouldn't go back. But the ARP request would, in fact, make it out to this end, and the response that comes back, which is the layer 2 response, would make it from the upper right up to the upper left, and everything would continue on. Again, this is not the typical way how you would end up configuring a network. Usually, if you had two separate networks that you didn't want to communicate, you would use two different switches. But you could do something like this, and the whole thing works because switches really only operate at layer 2. Okay, all right. So I want you to give it a try. Um, but there's nothing to submit for this one because it's kind of a bit of a weird thing. Okay, so what I will do is in a few minutes I'll be back with another video and I will actually get you to do something. And if you want to hang on to something without having to do a bunch of reconfigurations, you could probably leave the two computers or the four computers on here for right now. And I'll use that as a starting point in the next video. Okay, back in a few minutes.